True.
disagree with one of the things that she said. I think she said that marriage can only be synonymous if you're religious, and I totally
Well, there's no.
Yeah, I was
you
just saying I
disagree with
appreciate
that.
the
You
question because it does bring up a
Wait,
good...
you disagree
with Candace.
saying
She said that you can only, basically marriage can only be a marriage if you're religious, and religion plays into that marriage.
So, I mean, why get married for any reason other than for religious reasons?
What? Commitment, lifelong commitment, taxes,
to tell the world that you love your partner.
Wait,
You have
I have a
benefits
question.
as
Did
a
you just say
There could be a
married
million
couple.
reasons to get married.
The financial reasons you stated are fairly negligible.
I think it's mainly to just show
They're
the world that
fairly
you
negligible.
love this person and you're committed to this person, and you're having a ceremony in front of all of your friends and your family, and you're making that commitment. And if you don't
Here, let
have
me
a
ask-
marriage,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Mhm,
I'll ask a No, go ahead. Finish
no,
your.
and if you don't have a marriage, when you're married, speaking from somebody that was married, there's a way that others who are married see you. It's almost like you're part of this group. You know, if somebody is a dog owner and then you meet somebody else that's a dog owner, you're in this family, you're in this group. And so for people who are married, they see other people who are married, and I don't know if they take them more seriously or their commitment more seriously, but they definitely are seen in a particular way.
So
when
you're
you
saying
are
it
married.
confers certain social benefits because of in-group bias, essentially.
Not
Well,
necessarily.
So
because
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What can let's say there's a secular person who doesn't get married for religious reasons.
who doesn't get married for religious reasons? Okay.
Religiosity is not a component to their marriage.
Okay.
And you admitted, you said that, well, people, even if you're not religious, there's benefit of getting married. What can I, as a man, get from marriage that I can't get from a long-term life partner, like monogamous? Why should I get married?
I think for the same reason that I said, it's to solidify that commitment in front of your friends and your family, and maybe to solidify it to your own
let me
self.
introduce a word to this conversation called divorce.
Yeah.
So there is no, and
Yeah.
Brian, but like religious people get divorced as well.
Yeah.
precisely.
Precisely.
But at least one of the
So-
reasons that someone who's religious gets married is for religious reasons. There's a religious motivation there. They're moving pursuant to their religious beliefs. But if you're secular or an atheist, I frankly see absolutely no
So
reason
I
to
think
get
marriage
married.
is it's like the pinnacle of the relationship. You cannot get any more committed than being in a marriage. And I think for some people, myself included, I got married because I wanted that final level, that max level. I wanted to commit to my husband 100%. We had gone through lots of ups and downs, and we wanted to make it official. We wanted to give it basically a fair chance, officially, and not just long-term boyfriend, girlfriend, living together. We wanted to.
Were you guys religious?
No.
I would hate to be a girlfriend after 20 years. Like,
Yeah,
this is my
yeah.
boyfriend.
And have them not like pop
Wait, I
any
have
type
a
of question.
I don't know.
It is just like a form of like serious commitment, I think,
What's
more
your
than
question?
religious.
Why is religion related to marriage? I want to know your
I
standpoint
mean,
on
that's the origination.
it's rooted
That's the
in
genesis
that. I
of
understand
marriage.
that, but why do you think you should still be religious in order to get married?
That's not really the argument I'm making. I just don't see if you're secular, I see no reason to get married.
there's also-
And honestly, even if you're religious, the only reason if you're religious to get married is for your religious values. At least from a man's perspective,
I
there's
get that.
absolutely no reason to get married.
So Brian, can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. So if you weren't religious, but say you met a girl and you were dating a girl and you were really serious with a girl who wasn't super religious, but definitely considered religion important to her,
If she did, she wouldn't date somebody who wasn't religious.
Agreed.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, but go ahead.
Let's just say she was mild to moderately religious.
Okay.
You didn't want to get married. You just wanted to have a lifelong commitment, but marriage was really important to her. And like I said, you were really serious with her. You'd been dating her for a couple years. You could definitely see yourself long term with her. Would you get married for her?
You mean, would I do it because
Yes.
she wants it?
Yes.
Well, what about what I want, which is to not get married?
But
Why
that-
can't she be the one to come into my frame on this?
Valid point.
And
But there's
So-
no middle ground there. And there's no compromise. It's either you get married or you don't. So are you saying that you would want her, are you saying that you would want her to be the one that compromises?
absolutely.
Okay.
Like,
Because the
What if that meant ending the end of your relationship then?
here, I got this. Hold on. Out you go. Goodbye.
Okay.
so you,
I'm not you if a girl wants to be with me, you're not going to use this as leverage.
Okay.
I'm not going to accept that.
Okay.
You want to be with me, you can be with me.
Yeah, him
But-
only cut off all your hoes before the first date.
Well, we can get into that later.
Would you make
But-
any sort of like compromises? Like
What's the
not even
compromise?
that. I
What's
don't
the
know. Just like
compromise?
if say like she wanted to live in a different city, like would you compromise? Like
Or what
wanting to
about
live
like
there
a
or
civil
something?
ceremony?
Because like does it all like does
Hold
it,
on.
the whole
One question
relation
at a time, please.
does the whole relationship just have to be everything that you want, or are you gonna like?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It
All right,
does.
Well, I guess then that just answers it.
Well, look, it's you guys want men to lead, right? You guys want you want men to take initiative, you want men to ask you out, you want men to pay for
Not all the
Hold on,
time.
let me finish. You want men to ask you out, you want men to decide what you want to eat that night. You don't know what you want to eat. I'll pick what you want to eat. You want me to make the decisions. You want men to be dominant in the bedroom. You want men to be leaders. Okay, we don't need the obnoxious gesturing. But it seems like in these, so yes, I'm going to be the leader in those sorts of
Yeah.
determinations.
Right.
It just,
Now,
in that scenario, sounds
the
like you're
only
not compatible.
the only scenario where I'm gonna consider marriage or consider something like this is if I'm in a relationship with a woman who's substantially out earning me.
Okay.
Only then, for example, if she even then, she still needs to defer leadership to me, even
Right.
if she's out earning me.
I think it's fair to say that's what you're looking for, and that's
Yeah.
what maybe the majority of women you've been with are looking for. But it's not fair to say all women are.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I
Well,
didn't
when
say
you
all
say
women.
women,
You
in
generalize.
general.
Wait,
Well, what
what are you saying?
Wait, wait,
alluding.
But so, do you mean in terms of wanting men to take initiative?
Yeah, I don't think necessarily all women want that. So it's not fair to say.
I actually do think it's fair to say,
Wait,
generally speaking,
Definitely
I
not
think
feminist.
Hold on. I actually do think it's fair to say to use women in the general sense. Obviously, it's not all women in the sense that I could find you one woman who like approaches men or like takes initiative. I can certainly find outliers, but I don't think it's wrong to, for example, say humans have 10 fingers. There are some humans who are born with 11. But it's not wrong to say that humans have 10 fingers.
Yeah.
And
And I think naturally, biologically, women are wired to be more submissive. But I think when you kind of throw in the lovely cultural stew of feminism and all these weird, just new social standards like the Me Too movement, I think makes it very hard for men to feel like they can approach women. Then you get women, whether it's cope or they actually are delusional and believe it, but thinking that they want to be more in their like masculine energy and making decisions. But I think that's largely a side effect of culture as opposed to your biological wiring.
Wait, so you think it's what? I mean, if you had to assign a percentage in terms of women wanting men to be leaders and take initiative, do you think it's 80% women,
I think
70%
that's really
women?
just a question of how many women really identify as feminists and have taken that as a core part of their identity. I know there are some statistics that say it's like,
Oh, I wasn't asking you. I was asking her.
I was like, yeah.
Sorry, what was it? How the percentage?
Well, because so I made the statement that well, women want men to take initiative, be leaders, etc. And you were like, well, it's not all women. And I don't know if you were arguing like
I'm not arguing. I was just
Oh,
stating.
no,
my
I'm not
opinion.
upset if you are, even if you are arguing, but
Like, I don't think what you're saying is necessarily false. I just don't think we should generalize.
well, I mean, just for the sake of a conversation,
Yeah.
it can be helpful sometimes to generalize, but I mean, we can generalize, I mean, in the sense that, have you ever approached a guy?
I have.
You have?
I have.
Okay. When you say you approached a guy, did you like make eye contact with him and you considered that making the approach?
No, I'm not scared to go up to men if I
Okay.
find them attractive and maybe ask. Like,
Of
oh.
all the times that you've gone on the first date, who initiated that?
There's been a few times I have.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that's the case for most women?
No, not necessarily.
Okay. Do you think we could probably find like a large cohort of women who have never initiated?
Absolutely.
Okay. But who have been on numerous first dates?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that
absolutely.
there's like, even the majority of women have never even approached a guy, but they've been on, if they wanted to, or maybe they have, gone on dozens of first dates?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Do you think you could say the same thing about men? That there's a majority of men who have never made the first move and have been on dozens of dates?
No, I don't
No.
think so.
Okay. So there's differences. I mean, there's differences. Anyways, we were talking about marriage. Again, I don't see the benefit.
Right.
I agree with you. Having been married myself, I think it complicates a lot of things.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it complicates a lot of things, financially, that's a big one for me. Financially, like if I get into another relationship again, I would prefer to have things separated as far as finances and kind of. I fiercely embrace my independence as a woman. So I guess getting into something that's a little bit more long term, biggest thing I would do is probably move in with a person, but I think that, with divorce and finances and I think that complicates a lot of things. So I guess that's why I probably would never get married again. But that's just me.
I agree with you, Brian, that in the secular world, only women benefit from marriage and men do not.
Yeah, there's no benefit.
Men do not
There's no
benefit.
benefit.
I'm okay
It's all
with
risk.
that.
You're okay with that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Brian, you
I
didn't answer
also
my
am
question.
okay
Would you
with
get
that.
married? Would
Me
you
as
get
well.
married? Sorry, it's like in a civil ceremony
Why?
as a compromise. Like you're not legally getting married. You're not signing any legal
I mean,
documents.
I'd have to review the laws, but in this hypothetical,
No, like if it was just, for example, a backyard party,
much-
you have all of your friends and your family there, and you're
how
saying
much does she want
verbal
for the party?
commitments.
Is it what, $10,000?
it's just a barbecue.
But you said you wanted a ceremony, so would this take place in the church? Like, what?
No,
what are we
in the
talking about?
backyard. Say you're
So
living together.
The ceremony is we invite a bunch of our friends over.
Yeah, and
we
you
do
say
like
commitments.
a half-assed.
Yeah, and you say commitments.
That's like some backwoods
You do a whatever live stream.
shit.
You're,
I don't
she's
know.
she's
on
getting
live
she's
stream.
getting what she wants, which is a commitment, like a commitment that she's showing in front of her friends and family. But you're getting what you want by
What is
not.
she actually getting? Like, what is she?
I think for women, and
tangibly
I
getting?
know that a lot of women will concur with me. I think women, and I'm not saying all women, but I think a lot of women want the show, want the
Yes,
having
okay.
people make witness to the testament of love and their love, and having their friends and their family and having people witness it is a big deal for women. And it's not about the party and it's not about the money. It's literally having all of the people that she loves in her life witness it. Am I alone?
I
you're
would
saying
kind of
that
agree with
women,
that.
I could agree to
So
that.
women want to have the ceremony, but they don't want to be a wife.
I don't think that's.
I've heard that.
I don't
saying
think that's
before.
what she's saying.
I don't know if that's what she's
But
saying.
then
though.
comparing it to a traditional like religious marriage, like you still have that celebration, right, in front of everybody, and like yes, it's with God, but it's still that celebration with your loved ones to celebrate something.
But what? So the commitment is what?
the love towards
That-
that
that
person.
just- we
It's
have
your-
a ceremony.
Yeah,
I think it's just what
your
it
outward
symbolizes.
representation
Yeah,
of
it's
your
more- I think
commitment.
it's
Because what is
definitely- What's so wrong with that?
I mean, you can make
I'm kind of
commitment to
introverted.
each
I'm
other,
good.
but if
I'm
you
good on the ceremony. Let's not have any
Okay.
friends over. I don't want to do catering.
Yeah,
That
Anyone
sounds
that
terrible.
wants to
I'm the
marry
same
Brian,
way.
I'm
yeah.
good. I'm good
shit
on.
out of luck.
Same.
What's the ceremony? It doesn't establish any sort of commitment.
I feel like some men actually like do like the ceremony as well, though. Like I think it is mostly for women, but I think there are men out there that are like, okay, yeah, like I want to show my friends and family like this is like the love of my life, and it's just a fun like
Yeah,
little
exactly.
celebration type
Exactly.
thing. I think there's a lot of people
Yeah.
out there that are like that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to do. For some people, it's not like about God, and other people
Yeah.
it is.
Regardless of how you feel about it, are you willing to compromise for who you find
That's
to be
what I'm
your
trying to
perfect
get at,
partner
yeah.
and just do what would make them happy, even if you don't see a beneficial point in it? Are you willing to do that?
What is the compromise though?
you're
that you
not
would agree
getting
to the
married
ceremony.
legally, but she's getting us a
We also
commitment.
said it
a public
earlier, and
commitment.
he said that he wouldn't compromise. He wants
On
a woman
anything.
that
Oh.
I
wants
wouldn't-
to do exactly
no,
what he
look,
wants.
there's some things you can compromise on, but I just fail to see the purpose
right.
of a non-binding like ceremony. I don't really.
I feel like it's a status symbol. Like women want to be able to be like, I got the guy, which as we all do, but in the like hypergamous mind of women, it's like you get to show off to your friends that you got the guy, assuming he's like high value. Because I feel like if you were marrying someone that your parents didn't approve of, you wouldn't be all like, let's go have a wedding and bring all the friends here and have it, and show it off to everyone. I feel like it's kind of you want to show off, which is good. You should want to show off your partner.
So then is
But
that
that's just the
not
difference in male female sexuality.
So wait, what the ceremony? Who is at the head of the ceremony?
I have a
You're not. Nobody's officiating. It's just you and your partner.
But do I have to give a speech?
Not if you don't want to.
It's
So
your,
it's
your wedding.
There's no ceremony then.
It's
What's the
literally
ceremony?
it's literally you just.
It's a party?
It could,
I'm okay with
it
a
could,
party.
It could be
Basically,
Anything could
I
be a
guess.
whatever you
ceremony.
want.
I
Anything
guess.
could
It's
be a
your wedding.
ceremony
It could
that
be.
you
It could
want.
be as simple
I
as
guess
you
we can have
exchanging a
Anything
couple
could be a
sentences.
ceremony.
And
Yeah.
that's
Someone
it.
that does this podcast, like he's really nervous. He's like, "Is there going to be a speech?" Oh no! Like what? Well, because you said you were introverted, right? Well, I guess it's different. There's only so many
What's your
people here.
definition of a ceremony, though?
I think that's what he's trying to get at.
Yeah.
What's the least amount that he could do?
What's your definition of a ceremony? Because there's a lot of different types of ceremonies. And do you know that marriages are also kind of considered as rituals?
Word? Word? As far as the ceremony goes, I mean, sure, I guess. I don't know.
There you
Fine.
go.
He'll do the barbecue.
I'll do a barbecue. That just sounds like a
sounds good.
party, though. It doesn't sound like a
He's making a
ceremony.
deal.
Do you not
for-
like parties?
A party could be a ceremony.
I don't like
Yeah.
parties.
It literally
that's what
could
it is,
just
okay.
be a
Okay.
couple
Love
sentences
parties.
back and
Couple
forth.
sentences?
Yeah,
Well,
no more than
also-
5
Oh,
minutes.
it
I feel
seems
like-
so backwoods,
Also, though,
haggard. I don't know.
if
I
you
don't know.
didn't like want to have like a huge wedding, like you don't necessarily need to. Like
There's
you
no
could have it
wedding,
with just
though.
like
There
a
doesn't
few
have to be a
people.
wedding.
That's the thing.
I don't
He's
want a wedding.
anti-wedding.
Yeah.
you don't
Anti-
ever
no wedding.
ever you never
Anti-
want
No
a
He
wedding.
doesn't want to wed.
I don't want a wedding.
feel
Don't want a
that.
marriage.
Same.
You
I'm
want
anti-wedding,
a
low-key.
girl to cut off all of her hoes before the first date, but you will not commit to her?
Of course, I'm committing to her.
Brian.
How do you prove it?
Naomi.
How do you prove it? How do you prove it?
Naomi.
Oh.
But without a wedding, how do you prove it? What would your
What do you mean?
way? I don't
How
know.
do I prove? Prove what?
I mean, that
What's
you
the
are kind of
requirement?
saying
Commitment.
the marriage is kind of that symbol.
Like the proof of commitment.
That's what it is.
You're gonna get a
the
promise
proof.
ring?